everybody, welcome back to my channel. My name is Torie. Thank you for being here. So today I want to talk to you guys about how important it is to make that call. What I mean by that is call your health insurance or call Benlysta Gateway program or the doctor's office or really whoever you need to call. I have two stories that I want to tell you guys where I had to be on the phone. I had to make that call, but it actually ended up saving me a lot of money. So the first one is I had not met my deductible yet, and so I had to take my son into urgent care because he had pink eye. So I had to take him in for them to get the little antibiotic drops or whatever. So I knew the bill was, I was going to have to pay full. I have a high deductible plan, and so I knew it was, probably going to be like between $100 and $200 just to take him in to be seen so that they can give him these drops. So sure enough, I get a bill in the mail a couple weeks later and it was like $300. And I was like, that can't be right. So I called my insurance agency and I was like, what gives? It's definitely not this eye. And they were just like, oh yeah, we need to know if you have any secondary insurance. And so I was like, no, I don't. And so they were like, oh, okay. And they were able to negotiate that bill down. So the bill now is like $129 or something like that. So if you guys get a bill from a doctor's office, therapist's office, wherever, and it seems just like really, really high, definitely call your insurance, because normally, even if they don't cover it, they will at least negotiate the bill down to something more reasonable. So if you get a bill for like one doctor's appointment and you do have insurance, even though you're supposed to pay in full because you haven't met your deductible yet, but it's like one doctor's appointment and it's like $500 and the doctor isn't even a specialist, at least call your insurance company before you pay it. You cannot get money back once you pay it. Call them before you pay it and be like, is there any way we can negotiate this down or anything like that? And sometimes they will. So this actually happened to my little sister last year, I think, where she had gotten a bill and she called me about it, and I was like, just call your insurance agency and see if they can negotiate it down. And she did, and they took about half off the bill. So that's super important. Another thing that happened was with my Benlysta Gateway program. If you guys are on Benlysta, I have an entire playlist about the Benlysta Gateway program. You can definitely follow the link below and watch all those. This is my 5th full year on the Benlysta shots. I do the at-home auto-injectors. So what used to happen was they would give me the copay card, which they give you $15,000 on a copay card every single year. And so I would just use the copay card and it would come off of my deductible. Well, they stopped doing that a couple years ago, and now you have to pay for it out of pocket, but the money on the card can actually reimburse you. So if you pay for it with the card, you only get $15,000, and right now the cost of Benlysta is up to like $4,500 or something close to there. So of course, if you use all of the Benlysta card, it's only going to buy you like 3 months, and then you have to pay for it out of pocket, but you're not getting reimbursed because there's no money left on the card because you already spent it all on your drug. So the smart thing to do, and I have an entire video talking about this, but the smart thing to do would be to pay for it out of pocket. You can even do it on like a credit card or something like that, so that when they reimburse you, you can just pay off that credit card and then you meet your deductible. Right now my deductible is $7,500, so I have to buy like 1 month and then like half of the next month, and then I met my deductible, and then everything's free for the year other than the monthly premium that I pay just to have health insurance. I have another video talking about health insurance if you guys are interested in that too. So anyway, I bought my first round and it was like $4,500. I know there's like dollars and change, and it wasn't exactly 500, it was like 486, whatever. Anyway, I bought the first round. I went through all the paperwork. I had my receipts. I had everything. I faxed it in. I called them about 4 or 5 days later just to confirm that they got it. They had not gotten it. So they were like, wait another few days and then we'll see. And so I waited another few days, and then they called. And then I called and they were like, yeah, still haven't gotten it yet. Did you send it to this number? And the number that I was supposed to send it to was not the number on the sheet. So I faxed it to that number again. I called after 2 days and asked them if they had gotten it. They had. And so they were like, yeah, we just have to process it. Call back in a week. So I called back in a week. They were like, yeah, it's still not processing. We had to open a ticket for it to get the money off the card to send back to you. And I was like, okay, that sounds good. So I called back. I know this is a really long story, but I have to give you the blow by blow. So I was calling back twice a week. Finally, I found out that they had actually sent it to the wrong place. They had mailed a check to my doctor's office. My doctor's office got it and they were like, yeah, this was supposed to go to the patient, and so they sent it back. But they had to wait for that cancellation to go through for the money to be refunded back onto the card and then a new check sent out to me. Whereas the last year that I did this, I'm pretty sure I got a check in the mail like 11 days after I faxed in the paperwork. This year, 7 weeks. Took them 7 weeks from my first initial faxing of the paperwork to the time I had a check in my hand. So that means that my credit card payment was due and I had to pay for that out of pocket. Luckily, I'm pretty frugal and I'm pretty meticulous about putting money into savings, so I did have the money to be able to pay that off before I was paid back. But if I had not stayed on them, if I had not called twice a week religiously to see where my paperwork was in the process, I might have never gotten it. Or it may have come to me in like October. I sent it in July, I got it in October or something like that. So make sure you make the call. It is scary. You're calling in, you don't really know what you're entitled to, you don't really know what they owe you or what you should be looking for or what you should be asking. They're used to that. Just call in and be like, hey, this is what I'm seeing. I'm not sure what to do. I'm not sure where to go from here, but do not get off the phone until you are satisfied that you have all the information you need. It's very easy, and this is coming from experience, it's very easy to kind of freeze when you're on the phone because it's like, okay, you're official, I'm not, but you are an official client, so you are just as official as they are. So when you call, even if they're saying something and they're kind of using, jargon or terms that you don't really understand, just tell them that. Be like, spell it out for me, break it down for me. I am having a hard time understanding this. Can you give me an example? Can you give me an analogy or something like that? There is absolutely no shame in having them break it down. And I have done that so many times. I am one of those people, I actually had active listener on my resume, not because I am such a good listener and I'm just like so great at picking up information, but because I am notoriously terrible at taking in information. So I always hear it, repeat back to them what I heard, and they're like, no, you got that totally wrong. But just the fact that I take another step to do that means I get all the information I need and I get it accurately. So make sure you are following up with people. So make sure you are following up with your insurance company, your program, like whatever it needs to be. Just make the call. They're used to it and they will help you from there. Anyway, this is another little soapbox of mine, so I hope you guys have a great day. And if you guys do have any questions about Benlysta, just go ahead and watch my other videos, or you can reach me in the comments. I do try to respond to as many of them as I can. And yeah, that's all I got. Take care.